Hello everyone, we are continuing with the chapter of flower and this will be the deep part of the flower chapter. And in the previous sessions you have studied about the different parts of the flower, that is the essential parts, androecium and gynoecium, and the non-essential parts, that is calyx and corolla, and the different arrangements of the stamens you have studied. And today we are going to study about new terms, that is placentation. Now see children, what is placentation? As you have seen here in this diagram, the diagram of ovary you can see here, and this is the female part of the flower, we can call it. And each this this ovary is the solen part which is present, and style is there. Here you can see it is a long stalk, and stigma is there which receives the pollen grains. So this ovary, inside the ovary, ovules are present. So the portion where the ovules are present, we will see what is it known as placentation. Each chamber of the ovary of a flower contains thick cushion-like region where ovules are attached. These regions are called placentae. So this you can see here, this is the chamber of the ovary of a flower, and thick this inside this ovary is a thick cushion like region, and inside this cushion like region ovules are attached, and this region where the ovules are attached, that region is known as the placentae. The ovary contains one or more such placentae. So different ovaries have different placentae, that some have only one, or sometimes they may be more than one. These placentae are differently arranged in the ovaries of different flowers. So this arrangement of ovules is different in different flowers. So placenta, you know now children, it is nothing but a thick cushion like region inside the ovary where the ovules are attached, and this thick cushion like region is known as the placenta. And now see here, the arrangement of placentae within the ovary is called placentation. So arrangement of placentae within the ovary is called placentation. How these ovules are attached in the ovary, that is known as placentation. Placentation may be marginal, parietal, axial, free central, superficial, or basal. So the placentation is the arrangement of placenta within the ovary, that is known as placentation. And this placentation may be of different type. It may be marginal, axial, superficial, free central. Here you can see the different types of placentation. The first one you can see is marginal. Here you can see all these ovules, they are arranged at the margin. Here they are arranged at the periphery. You can see here all these ovules are attached at the periphery. Here you can see in the axil, you can see the arrangement. Here you see children, this is free central. All these ovules are attached in the center, and such arrangement is known as free central. Here you see it is superficial or basal arrangement. So these are the different types of placentation, that is the arrangement of the placenta within the ovary is known as placentation. Now about the inflorescence. Children, you know, you have studied about the flower, and the stalk of the flower is known as the pedicel. So here when a group of flowers appear on a stalk, they are known as inflorescence, and the stalk is known as the peduncle. So here we will see what it is. The flowers are borne either singly or in cluster on a floral stem. Now, flowers may be born either singly, or one flower is present on one stalk, or they are born in cluster. As you can see here, on a single stalk, here a cluster, a group of flowers are born. So this type is known as inflorescence. The flowers that are born singly are called solitary. So if only one flower is born, then it is known as a solitary flower. As you have seen here, this only one flower is present. If one flower is present in a stalk, then it is known as a solitary. But if a branch or a branch system bearing cluster of flowers in a particular arrangement is called inflorescence. That means if a group of flowers are arranged, they are known as inflorescence. The stalk which bears the flower is called peduncle or the rachis. See here, on one stalk, this is one stalk and lot of flowers are born in this. A cluster of flowers are born on this. So this stalk is known as peduncle. Peduncle means a stalk bearing a cluster or a group of flowers. If only one flower is present, then that is known as the pedicel. That stalk is known as pedicel. But here group of flowers are born in this stalk, so this stalk is known as the peduncle or the rachis. The grouping of flowers makes them more conspicuous to attract insects and other animals for pollination. So flowers are arranged in such a way, that means we can say they are arranged in such a way to attract the insects and animals for pollination. Depending upon the mode of branching of peduncle, the inflorescence is categorized into 4 types. These are racemose, cymose, panicle, spikelet and spike. Now, depending upon the mode of branching, the inflorescence may be of different types. Now, here are some types of inflorescence given, that is the racemose, cymose, panicle, spikelet and spike. So we will know what is this, what are these inflorescence known as according to their mode of branching. You can see here, this is the first one is the racemose type of inflorescence. See here. In racemose, this is, you can see this is the peduncle or the main axis, and this main axis continues to grow. And you can see here the flowers are arranged in an acrobital order or in acrobital form. Acrobital form means, see here, the flowers which are born on the lower flowers are larger in size. As you move up, you see the size of the flower goes on decreasing. So this is known as an acrobital form. Acrobital means the lower flowers are larger in size and the upper flowers are smaller in size and they are young also. So this arrangement is known as acrobital arrangement, and such type of inflorescence is known as racemose inflorescence. And the example of this racemose inflorescence is mustard and radish. You can find this type of inflorescence in mustard and radish. Then second one is the cymose inflorescence. Here you can see, in your book it is not given, but this is just to give an information about all these types of inflorescence. So in cymose, you can see here the main axis has ended in a flower. Have you seen this, children? Here the main axis has ended in a flower and 2 simultaneous branches are produced from here, and that also ends in the flower. Have you seen this? That is also, these 2 simultaneous branches are arranged, is given out by this main axis, and then these also ends in a flower. Here also the flowers are arranged in an acrobital form. That means the lower ones are larger and the upper ones are smaller. So this type of arrangement is known as the cymose arrangement. An example is Calotropis. Another arrangement is, here you can see, this one is the panicle. In panicle you can see the main axis, this is the main axis, it will keeps on growing, and you can see here this is one raceme. Have you seen? This is one raceme, this is another raceme, this is another, many racemes you can see on this peduncle. That means we can call it as a branched inflorescence, or we can call it by the name of compound raceme. It is known as compound raceme. Now see here, in this raceme, here also the flowers are arranged in an acrobital form. Acrobital form means, see, the lower flowers are bigger and the upper flowers are smaller and younger, and the main axis will continue to grow. So this is one raceme, this is another, and such an arrangement you can see here in this Gulmohar. This you can see in Gulmohar. Now about the next one is about the spike. Spike, you see here, the flowers are sessile, that means stalk is not present here. Here also it continues, the main axis continues to grow, and the flowers are arranged in the acrobital form, that is the lower ones are larger and the smaller one are smaller, and as you move up, the flowers may are smaller and younger. So this is about the spike, and this type of arrangement you can see here. Now, inflorescence can be determinate or indeterminate. Now, the inflorescence may be determinate or indeterminate. In determinate inflorescence, the number of flowers does not increase after opening of the first flower. So, in determinate inflorescence, what happened? The number of flowers does not increase after when the first flower opens. That number will not increase. That number are determined. In indeterminate inflorescence, the number of flowers can increase after the opening of some flowers. So, in indeterminate inflorescence, the number of flowers can increase after the opening of some flowers, but in determinate inflorescence, the number of flowers does not increase. They are fixed after the opening of the first flower. So, children, here we end the chapter of flower, and you learn all these important terms about this inflorescence, different type, about this arrangement of these stamens, and the diagram of a typical stamen you can see here, and about this calyx and epicalyx. Diagram of flower, you have to learn the labeling, how to label this diagram, and what are the important functions of each part of the flower. So here we end our chapter, children, and you will get the assignment for this chapter, the flower, and write down in your copies, in your classwork copies, write down all these assignment, and in the coming week I will give you the project work also. Okay, thank you, bye.